From Raymond S. Kellis High School in Glendale, Arizona, the Arizona High School Football On-Demand Video Series on the IBN Sports Broadcasting Network brings you live coverage of the Kellis Cougars against the Copper Canyon Aztecs in a Class 4A Division I West Valley Region game. Good evening again, everybody. I'm Ken Tomash along with Mike West. And Mike, tonight we have a matchup of one team trying to get back to its early season form and another team just trying to get something positive to show for their hard work. Let's talk about the home team, Kellis, first. They were untouchable at the beginning of the season. They won their first 5 games by a combined score of 245-28. Then they lost back-to-back games in the region. They rebounded last week against Agua Fria with a big win. Which team do you think shows up tonight for them?
Well, Ken, I look for this Kellis team that started the season so hot to show up tonight. You mentioned the big point differential in the first 5 games. And, I mean, you can't be too much of a slouch of a team when you can beat your first 5 teams by a combined 217 points. I look for that two-headed running attack and Raymond Payne and Marcus Hackney to shoulder most of the offensive load again tonight. 2 very talented running backs, both with over 600 yards and 8 touchdowns each on the year. Kellis got back in the win column last week, as you mentioned. I wouldn't be surprised if they turned in another W here tonight. Well,
meanwhile, the Copper Canyon Aztecs earlier this year snapped a 17-game losing streak going back almost 2 years when they won at Tempe. And they had a really good game against Peoria about a month ago, but the last few weeks, they have really struggled on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, not much success in the passing game with Stephen LeCoons at quarterback. He's completed just 52% of his passes, but he's had a tendency to make some errant throws. 7 picks on the season for him. But the offense is all about the running back, Michael Grubbs. He's only 5'8" and about $160, but he got up and over the 1,000 rushing yard mark on the season in their 52-7 loss at Sunrise Mountain. We should see plenty of run calls from both sidelines, Ken.
Yes, if you are a fan of the running game, this is the game for you because both teams have some outstanding rushers. We talked about Michael Grubbs. He's the focal point of the offense for Copper Canyon, who you'll see going out on the field in white. Meanwhile, Kellis has a multi-headed rushing attack. They ran for over 400 yards last week. We will see a lot of guys, including quarterback Adam O'Banion, get into the running act.
Yeah, you touched on it a bit there, Ken, but for Copper Canyon, you'll see the vast majority of the handoffs go to junior Michael Grubbs, as we mentioned. And for Kellis, you have so many different options of guys who can chunk up some yards. You've got the strong up-the-gut runner in Marcus Hackney, the quick runner Raymond Payne, and you've even got Adam O'Banion, the quarterback, as you mentioned, over 400 yards on the season. All 3 of those rushers are up over 7 yards per carry, so when they run it well.
Kellis will receive to start this game. Ricky Bain is the key man back there. Raymond Payne, the other return guy. You'll know Ricky Bain by his hair coming out the back of his helmet. He's the return man on the near side. You'll see him shortly. And immediately they go with an onside kick by Ulysses Barunda and the scramble for it, and let's see what happens.
I believe that's Jarvis Lewis for Kellis coming up with the ball.
So a little deception on the opening kickoff as Ulysses Barunda tries the onside kick. So they keep it away from Ricky Bain, who is an incredibly dangerous return man, but instead they give Kellis great field position, high risk, high reward, and when you're the big underdog, maybe that's something you got to try.
Yeah, that would have been a big statement if they could have recovered that onside kick there, but giving Kellis good field position and not what you want to do with such a great rushing attack that this Kellis team has.
Adam O'Banion, the quarterback, Marcus Hackney and Raymond Payne are the backs. Hackney now, number 33, will come to the slot on the near side, and that's Kyle Stegg moving from the right side to the left side at tight end. The right side of the offensive line is all seniors, but the juniors on the left side will be blocking here for Payne, and Payne does get to the outside around the outside, but he's finally pushed out of bounds there by Eric Branham. Decent gain on the first play, and it'll give them a 2nd and short. So already we see that rushing attack.
Nice little toss out there to the left. Got some good blocking on the outside. Couldn't quite turn the corner, but making it 2nd and manageable coming up here.
7-yard gain on the first play by Raymond Payne. Now Ray Espinoza is the flanker in the bottom of your screen behind Adam O'Banion, who's under center, and Espinoza goes in motion to the top of your screen. The quick throw out to the far side is complete on the flanker screen. It's read well, but he buries his way across the yard line to gain for the first down. Kalen Robinson. No, check that. It's Nathan Jackson. Nathan Jackson makes the catch on the flanker screen and just bulls his way for the first down.
Simple screen pass there and a nice block by Ray Espinoza, but credit Jackson for that second effort, shedding that first tackler and stretching his arms across the first down. marker. He had 66 yards last week against Agua Fria and getting in the action early here tonight.
Now Espinosa's wide to the left, and Ricky Bain goes in the slot, and he'll go in motion. On 1st and 10, the hand up the middle to Hackney, and Hackney gets about 5 or 6 yards again, so they're finding joy in the early going up that middle.
And Marcus Hackney coming off a season-high 182 yards last game, also punched in a touchdown. And we saw him really effective up the middle in that game against Coconino. He was just able to run right up the gut and ripped off a couple long runs for touchdowns. And wouldn't be surprised if he could get another one going here tonight. A strong, strong runner up the middle.
Jarvis Lewis has come in at tight end. We'll call his number a lot, number 88, as he sets up on the right side. A big junior, he's a basketball player, still learning to play football, but he is playing it outstandingly on both sides of the ball. Now he shifts back to the left side. Espinosa will go in motion on 2nd and 5. They fake the handoff to Espinosa. And Payne gets the call. He's going to be short of the first down before he's pushed back. We've got a flag thrown as Robert Ruelas made the stop short of the first down, but we'll have to check out the flag.
And we've seen Ray Espinosa in motion a decent amount early here so far, but the running on first down for Kellis has been extremely effective. They've been picking up at least 5, 6, 7 yards here in the early going, and that makes it a lot easier on the quarterback and the rest of the offense trying to pick up first downs.
Personal foul on Copper Canyon, so that's going to give Kellis the first down after they had stopped Kellis short. It's going to mark it all the way down to the 20-yard line, so great field position on 1st and 10. First drive of the game for Kellis. Comes in with a 6-2 record. And they'll send 3 receivers out to the left side. Espinosa and Bain are the slot men. And O'Banion will keep it. We told you he's quite the running quarterback, and he's down to about the 11-yard line, maybe the 12, for a decent gain on first down, and they're knocking on the door.
Yeah, O'Banion not too shy from running the ball. 7 rushing touchdowns on the year, over 7 yards a carry. Just another effective runner for this more than a 3-headed rushing attack for Kellis.
All the Cougars have gaudy yards per attempt averages, led by Marcus Hackney's 10 yards a carry. Hackney's in there now as O'Banion's in the spread. Got some trouble and he's brought down. A sack back to the 20-yard line, and it's their big tackler, Tyler Rucker. He's got 66 tackles on the year. That's his first sack, but number 44, the 5'11", 225 senior for Copper Canyon, is going from sideline to sideline and sticking people up the middle.
And you mentioned that sideline to sideline speed. Tackles with the best of them on the gridiron here tonight. He's had 5 double-digit tackle games this year, and he may be just getting started here tonight. Nice tackle there.
Clock running, 9:23 to go, first quarter, opening drive. Now O'Banion again will have Hackney as his lone setback, and he's got 4 wide receivers. On 3rd and 10, swinging out to Bain. Bain gets to the outside, and they're not going to catch him. Ricky Bain, touchdown, 20 yards.
And a nice pass there on 3rd down, hitting Ricky Bain in the flat, knowing that he's got that great turn the corner ability, showing off his great speed. And I guess there's a reason that they didn't try to kick it to him on the opening kickoff. Speed like that, very impressive. Had a rushing touchdown last game and punching in the first 6 of the game here tonight.
Ricky Bain, just a sophomore and not very big, 5'6" and 135 pounds, but boy, is he fast. That was about a 2-yard pass and a 18-yard run. Eberhardt kicks the point after, and it's 7-0 with 9:04 to go in the first quarter.
And as effective of a first drive as you would want from Kellis, and that onside kick from Copper Canyon, really not the best idea early on after we see what happened on this first drive, but give Kellis credit. They ran the ball extremely effectively, and the screen pass really worked. They had a nice gain to Nathan Jackson to pick up a first down early on, and a great job of utilizing the speed that Ricky Bain has to make that touchdown possible on 3rd down. Big play for Kellis to start.
O'Banion's 13th touchdown of the season throwing the ball. We told you that he's got another 7 running the ball, so he's a dual threat as well. And now we'll see Kellis as the Cougars will kick off for the first time. And here's a chance maybe for Copper Canyon to get something going where they were unable to do it last week, Mike.
Yep, and it'll be all Michael Grubbs. Once they have possession, you'll see Grubbs get the ball time and time again. Kid up over 1,000 yards already and hasn't been under 100 yards in any one game. This is a kid who's constantly in triple digits and a fantastic runner for this Copper Canyon team. So look for plenty of grubs up on this upcoming drive.
And especially on this return, he was frustrated a week ago because Sunrise Mountain just would not kick the ball in the field of play. They kept putting it in the end zone. But Colin Davis, the sophomore, has only 3 touchbacks this year in his 52 kickoffs. So there's a good chance that Grubbs, who's standing at his own 4, will have a chance to return this one. He averages 27 yards a kickoff return. So they just as soon keep it out of his hands. But unless Davis can hit the end zone, or he goes short like that one, they return the favor. The ball is loose, and it looks like Kellis has recovered. Turnabout, fair play, and it looks like the Cougars are going to start their second drive in even better position than the first one.
Yeah, and giving Copper Canyon a taste of their own medicine there. Kellis executed that perfectly, completely caught the special teams off guard. The referees are discussing it up towards the 50-yard line, but it should be Kellis ball, and it is. Big play call, but Ken, as you mentioned, high risk, high reward. The reward is huge here, and a chance to build on that early 7-0 lead.
Davis pounded that one into the ground, and it hit the up man, and the up man could not hold on to it. And I believe Davis himself may have come up with the football, but in any case, it's 1st and 10 for Kellis at the 46-yard line of Copper Canyon. So that defense that was just out there for that long drive for Copper Canyon has to go right back out there, and O'Banion from the spread. He's going for it all on 1st down. Tipped up in the air and incomplete. That went off the back of the defensive back, Raymond Johnson. Johnson made a great play to leap high in the air, and when it came down on his back, and he didn't know where the ball was.
Raymond Johnson, the 6-foot sophomore with 48 tackles on the year, a couple of picks, and made a nice job adjusting to the flight of that ball there and making sure that Nathan Jackson wasn't going to pick up a big first play on Kellis' second drive of the game. Nice play there by Johnson.
So 2nd and 10 now. I'm not trusting the clock. It was 9:04 on the touchdown play, and since then we've had an onside kick and an incomplete pass, but the clock says 9 minutes and 3 seconds to go, so we'll go with that for now. Ricky Bain hustling in motion. They fake it to him. Actually does have it. Such a great fake. Didn't think he had it, but he's going to be spun down after a gain of a few. Eric Branham again with a tackle.
Trying to utilize Ricky Bain's speed there, but credit the Copper Canyon defense there. They knew that he had that turn the corner ability, and did a good job of getting to the sideline and snuffing that one out. A 3rd and probably about 5 or 6 coming up on here for the Kellis offense.
And this is a huge play here for Copper Canyon. It could conceivably be 4-down territory because Coach Jason Golden really doesn't like to kick field goals from this far out. So on 3rd and 6, they'll call it from the 42. Stegg goes to the tight end right. Backs in the eye behind O'Banion. They give up the middle to Hackney, and he's going to be short of the 1st down to the 40, and we've got a flag down that came in after the play, so someone may have done something untoward, but we'll check it and see. Michael Lang is our referee tonight.
The D-line for Copper Canyon did a great job there of bottling that one up in the middle, not letting Marcus Hackney go anywhere as we await the ruling.
Sideline warning. The flag is for a sideline warning. The Kellis coaching staff violating that 3-yard zone. So the first one is free. There's no yardage associated with it. But now both teams are on notice to stay back and let the head linesman do his job. So it's 4th and about 4, and they will go for it. Again, backs in the eye. And O'Banion gives it to the second man through Payne now. Look at that burst of speed as he gets to the outside, and he's tackled, but not till he gets the 1st down. Tackled by Raymond Johnson, but he got up high in the head, so the flag came out of the defensive backfield. Back judge Matthew Lang threw it, and I wonder if we're going to have a face mask call or, well, we'll see. But what a burst of speed there by Payne. He just accelerated as soon as he got the ball.
And we've just seen speed from so many different guys on this Kellis team between Payne and Bain. These guys are just shouldering the load and getting to the outside, and once they get to the sideline, they're tough to stop.
It's going to be a holding call on
maybe that's why it was too good.
And a face mask call. So we're going to have offsetting penalties, and we're going to do that one again. So we'll come back to the 40 for the 4th and 4.5 play. So maybe that's one reason why he was able to get to the outside and get that 1st down before he was tackled by the face mask. But 2 live ball fouls offset. We're back to 4th and a long 4. from the 40. Needs to get not quite to the 35-yard line. This time they'll go single back with Payne. And 4 receivers, including Hackney in the slot to the left. O'Banion quickly on the draw, and he's met in the backfield once again. Another big tackle by Robert Ruelas. So they stop him on downs, and Copper Canyon is going to get the ball in pretty good field position.
And they snuffed out that delayed handoff perfectly. Ruelas did a good job of getting into the backfield. 250 pounds is the senior. He's got 15 tackles and 1 sack on the year and did a great job of penetrating the line and getting the ball back for Copper Canyon. Now they get their first offensive drive of the game.
You'll see multiple offensive sets. Stephen Lacunza is the quarterback, but here's Michael Grubbs trying to find a hole to the outside, and O'Banion meets him there and throws him out of bounds, and that's going to be a penalty tacked on to the end. O'Banion is a very aggressive defensive back. When he plays defense, Coach Golden said he's always trying to get him to call safety blitzes and things so he can get right into the thick of things. Well, he got into the thick of things there, but he threw Ricky Grubbs to the ground after he was out of bounds, and pretty sure that's going to be some extra yardage that will give Copper Canyon even better field position. But the officiating crew is going to talk it over first.
Yeah, a couple flags here, one on the far sideline and one on the near sideline closest to us. As the officials are discussing it, we got to see our first look at Michael Grubbs, the 1,000-yard rusher that we've mentioned before. And it'll be a false start penalty called on Copper Canyon, as well as a personal foul on Kellis. But Grubbs did a good job of getting to the outside, trying to shrug off tacklers. He actually picked up about 4.5. But we'll see where they will spot it. And they'll be moving it back just a little bit.
Well, you had one live ball foul. You had one live ball foul and one dead ball foul, so they don't offset. So you have to mark off both infractions. So they mark off the procedure penalty first, and then the dead ball penalty. Down to just outside the 40-yard line. And if you saw Copper Canyon's game of a week ago, this was rare territory for them against Sunrise Mountain. They rarely dented until late in the game the Mustang territory. But here they've got first down on the 41-yard line. And it's Jonathan Gonzalez is the back. They will give it to Gonzalez. Gonzalez had a late touchdown in that loss last week at Sunrise Mountain. In fact, they're only scoring a 52-7 loss. They've only scored 2 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks, and Gonzalez maybe ekes out half a yard to the 40.
Yeah, he ran to the left there, but Jarvis Lewis there for Kellis to meet him, 6'4", 240 pounds. Team leader with 10 sacks on the year, so he knows how to get into the backfield, and he broke up that play before it could get going.
2nd and 9, and again, they put Grubbs on the wing left. And Grubbs will come around to the right side, so they'll do the pitch to the right side, and that's Rayvon Johnson, the sophomore, getting some time in the offensive backfield instead of his normal position in the defensive backfield, and he's inside the 40 to about the 38-yard line. So it's still going to be a 3rd and long.
Johnson showing that he can play both ways. Made a nice play earlier, not too long ago, as a defensive back, breaking up a play that would have been a big first play after Kellis recovered on that onside kick. Got a couple yards there, 3rd and 7 coming up.
Pass complete to Monzel Childress. Childress has the first down and more. Still on his feet and finally pushed out, and we've got another flag. He got down to the 20.
And Childress was almost dragged down at about the 32-yard line, shook a couple of tackles and got to the outside, picked up that extra yardage. That's now a 16th catch on the year. Came into the game with 230 receiving yards and a couple of touchdowns, and made a nice move there after the catch to pick up that first down.
Copper Canyon, by hook or by crook, there came up with a defensive stop to get the ball back. And a couple penalties. And some tough running. It is a dead ball personal foul on Kellis, and that'll move the ball down to the 10-yard line, or just inside the 10, so it's 1st and goal.
And the second personal foul we've seen on this drive giving Copper Canyon those extra yards, and this is crucial for a struggling offense.
Grubbs on his first carry of the game, going nowhere. He looked for some room off tackle, didn't find it. O'Banion was in there making the stop for Kellis along with a couple of friends. So minimal gain, will be second and goal. In fact, he may have lost a half a yard, so now they're outside the 10. Second and goal.
The defense just swarmed to that run to the right. Nowhere to go for Michael Grubbs on that run. Second at about the same distance right here.
5:25 to go, first quarter. Copper Canyon trailing 7-0, but on the move at the 10-yard line with a second and goal. Grubbs again in motion. And this time Lacunza will keep it himself as he faked the handoff, and he's down to about the 6-yard line, so they're getting closer.
And the fake handoff allowed him to get up the middle, picking up about 3-4 yards there. Now just about 3rd and 6 yards from pay dirt here. See if Copper Canyon can punch in that elusive touchdown. They only had one touchdown last week as they dropped 52-7 at Sunrise Mountain in Peoria. We'll see if they can get on the board here.
3rd and goal. Lacunza throws it over the middle. Childress made the catch despite contact from a defender that threatened to knock him off his feet, but it didn't. He spun around and got close, but he's not in. He's at about the 2-yard line.
And decision time here, Ken. The officials will stop play briefly here.
Looks like Mike Segovia is going to take a timeout. I mean, you got to go here. I mean, your season, you're at 1-6. You know, you just snapped a 17-game losing streak, so you've won like one of your last 27 games. You've got something going offensively. You don't have the greatest kicking game in the world. So, yeah, you got to punch this one in and at least tie this game up here early in the first quarter. Give your kids some confidence.
And you're only a yard away, and why not go to Michael Grubbs, the guy who's been pretty much the entire offense for this 2010 season. You got to think Grubbs can be able to eke out a yard here and put up those 6 points.
Yeah, but Kellis is thinking the same thing.
Yep. And let's give the Copper Canyon defense some credit. They were in jeopardy of really repeating last week's start. Close to deja vu all over again. Lots of early points for the opposition. But they did a good job of defending, got a 3rd down stop, and got the 4th down stop for the turnover on downs. And now they're moving it all the way down to the 1. Big 4th down here.
All right, here we go. Copper Canyon trying to make a statement. They'll put 3 backs in the backfield. Tyler Rucker is the fullback. And is it going to Grubbs? Yes, it is. He tries to find a hole, and he does. Touchdown, Copper Canyon.
Michael Grubbs punching in for his 7th touchdown of the year. And just like that, Copper Canyon's back in it now 7-6. Great blocking up the middle. And Grubbs had some room to spare as he dove over the goal line in for 6.
So, yeah, they went with 3-man backfield. There was no question what they were going to do. They were going to give Grubbs the ball, and he found just enough of a seam to get in for the touchdown. It's Ulysses Barunda, the left footer. Out of the hold of Manny Uribe. Tie game. Well, it's homecoming here at Kellis. And they're in a dogfight. 7-7 with 4:18 to go in the first quarter against Copper Canyon.
And this crowd is pretty darn quiet right now, if I do say so myself, Ken. This was a Copper Canyon offense that was struggling, but a couple big personal foul penalties allowed them to keep moving the chains and eventually punch it in on that 4th and 1. Michael Grubbs with the rushing touchdown there. And we're all square once again.
Well, now it'll be up to the Aztec defense to repeat that performance. I'm not sure they'll try another onside kick, but you never know. First one didn't work out all that well for them. Wayman Payne and Ricky Bain are the deep backs standing at their own 10-yard line. And Ulysses Barunda set to kick off for the second time. This time he knocks it through the middle to the man on the front of the wedge. It's Hackney. And he's going to be out to about the 39-yard line, so not bad field position, but they kept it away from what could have been a potential long return by Ricky Bain.
And we've seen them go away now on both kickoffs, not taking any chances with Ricky Bain. He had a kickoff return for a touchdown on the first play of the season and is as electric of a runner as you can find on the gridiron here tonight. We saw him get that first touchdown of the game, about a 20-yard catch and run.
So the Cougars, 1st and 10 at their own 39-yard line. Raymond Payne. Payne is across the 40, pushed back, but he'll get forward progress to about the 41 for a gain of 2, and he'll bring up 2nd and 8.
Some traffic up the middle there. About a trio of linemen just fell over down there. Not much room for him to run. He would have had to go up and over those guys, but would have left the ball in jeopardy and the potential to be jarred loose. And instead, we're looking at a 2nd and 8 just to pick up a 2 on that carry. Raymond Payne back in the backfield now.
Anthony Sandoval shows blitz. He's coming, and the quick throw, and the receiver slipped and was still able to make the grab, but we've got flags down. Ray Espinosa came up with the catch up to the 45-yard line, but again, flags down.
And Espinosa, who had a nice block to help Nathan Jackson get a first down on that opening drive, did a good job of catching that ball after he initially slipped, and did a good job of reacting and hauling that ball in.
Got hammered, though, for his trouble, so the personal foul on Copper Canyon will push it onto their side of the field. Down to the 40-yard line.
It'll be 1st and 10, Kellis on the Aztecs 40-yard line.
O'Banion with Payne as his lone setback. Espinosa split wide to the left. He's got Hackney in the slot right. He'll pitch it to Payne. Payne trying to get to the outside, breaks one tackle, cuts back inside, almost broke another tackle, but Patrick Wilhite was not going to hear of it. Wilhite, the 5'11", 220-pound senior, was holding on for dear life and brought him down for a loss of about 5.
And Raymond Payne, after he shook that first tackle, you're thinking, oh no, here he goes again out towards the sideline, but got a little bit greedy as he tried to cut it back inside and loop around to the near sideline, I should say, but dropped for a loss of about 4 or 5 on that play now. Adam O'Banion coming back onto the field and Kyle Stegg checking out.
They'll put Darius Beckwith in as well. So 3 receivers left. And O'Banion again drops quickly, hits his man Payne. Payne down the sideline. One man has the angle, and he's not going to get him. 44-yard touchdown pass. O'Banion's 2nd of the night.
And that's the 2nd time we've seen a little short pass out to the left go for 6. All the way in for 44 yards on that one. And once he hit the sideline, he hit that seam and he was gone. Nobody catching him on that one. A great catch and run by Raymond Payne there, making it 13-7 now. Kellis back on top.
And the Kellis faithful think that's more like it.
How about some of the speed we've seen so far, Ken? Just
wow.
Impressive, especially on the Kellis side of the ball. But it's been all running attack, as we were talking about earlier, on both sides. The running backs coming through, 2 receiving touchdowns actually for this Kellis team. But the running backs showcasing that blazing speed, and Kellis has been looking good early.
O'Banion to Payne, 44 yards later. It's a 14-7 lead for the homestanding Kellis Cougars. Well, this has been an entertaining first quarter. Much better if you're a Copper Canyon fan than a week ago when they were down 28-0 at the end of one, and it only got worse from there. But as a lot of teams who have played the Cougars this year are finding out, when they turn on the afterburners, it's hard to catch those guys.
And I guess there's a pretty good reason that they're trying to kick away from Ricky Bain when Kellis is on the receiving end of a kickoff. Now Kellis will be kicking off. Copper Canyon scored on their first and only drive of this game, and kind of abetted by some personal foul calls. We've seen 3 so far early on from both teams. But Kellis to kick off here, and Grubbs deep to receive at the 5.
Last time, Colin Davis dragged it for an onside kick, which the Cougars recovered. This time, Grubbs back at his 5, hoping he'll get a chance on this one. Again, they'll pound it into the turf, keep it away from Grubbs. It's picked up there by Shaquille Johnson, and Johnson's down at the 25-yard line. So it could have been better, but it could have been a whole lot worse.
And Johnson, the DN there, just falling, knowing he wasn't going to be able to make too much happen on that play. And again, you've seen from both sides, taken no chances with the return men. So far, none of the 4 kickoffs have gone to the deep man. And we'll start it at the 25 for Copper Canyon.
.224 to play, first quarter. It's a 14-7 game. Kellis leading Copper Canyon. Ken Tomesh and Mike West with you. And on first down, here's Grubbs. On the left side, again going nowhere.
Grubbs drubbed right at about the line of scrimmage there, picking up only about a half yard, maybe a couple of inches there, as the Kellis defense snuffed that run play out to the left. Second and about 10, maybe a long 9 coming up here.
Francisco Rangel got there first. No gain, second and 10 from the 25. We're under 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Again, they'll go with Grubbs and Gonzalez in the backfield. Steven Lacunza with a long count. Again to Grubbs, but they'll hand it back up inside. And Anthony Goldsmith is off to the races. Gets a block downfield, and he's going to go diving into the end zone. A 75-yard touchdown run for Anthony Goldsmith.
And what a great double reverse right there. Goldsmith only with 58 yards rushing on the year, but he'll far eclipse that. What a fantastic play call and a great run by Goldsmith there. And just like that, this Copper Canyon offense is coming alive. What a play. These running backs are something else so far, Ken, I tell you.
75 yards to pay dirt. Anthony Goldsmith, the senior, he just turned on the Jets as well. And we are an extra point away from having a tie ball game. And actually, Copper Canyon is going to go for 2. Again, they'll go with the 3 men in the backfield that worked on their first touchdown. This to give them the lead. Grubbs cuts back inside, and he's going to be stopped short. So they went for the lead. No, really?
Are they not calling a touchdown?
Oh, for diving in the end zone? Thanks for somebody telling us. That was brilliant. So he's short of the touchdown. They weren't going for 2. And now they've finally taken it off the scoreboard. Everyone here was confused. I don't know about that, folks. Again, this time Lacunza up the middle. He's close, but yes, he is in. So Lacunza gets the touchdown. So instead of a 75-yard run by Goldsmith, it's a 1-yard run by the quarterback Lacunza. And with 1:15 to play, now Copper Canyon has a chance to tie it.
That's Lacunza's 3rd rushing touchdown on the year. But all credit goes to Anthony Goldsmith and that play call and that double reverse to set up that 1-yard touchdown run on second down. What a fantastic play call there and executed perfectly.
Barunda's kick is blocked, so we are not tied.
And that was Francisco Rangel there to make the play, going straight up the middle and kicked right into his chest. A great job of penetrating that line and making sure that this one stays a Kellis lead.
Well, that's going to leave a mark. Well, we do have a full moon here tonight, folks, so maybe that's why some weird stuff is already happening here in the first quarter. But our score with 1:15 to play in the first quarter is the Kellis Cougars 14 and the Copper Canyon Aztecs 13. Now, a week ago, There were 28 points scored in the first quarter of Copper Canyon's game, but they were all by Sunrise Mountain, and they were on the wrong end of a 28-0 deficit after one, 49-0 at the half, and ended up losing 52-7. They are absolutely in this ballgame.
And their offense has looked pretty electric so far, but at the same time, Kellis has countered right back. Just going blow for blow here in the first quarter. An offensive shootout early in this one, but a lot of fun to watch nonetheless.
So Ulysses Barunda will kick off now, and we'll see again if he tries to drop it over the front wall into the men at the 25, who are in front of Ricky Bain and Wayman Payne. Barunda will kick it deep this time. It'll go through the hands of Ricky Payne and into the end zone. So that is a touchback. Well, that's one way to kick it to him without really kicking it to him.
And the one time they do kick it to him, Ricky Bain wasn't quite ready for it. Just slips through the midst, so they'll start at the 20 on this one.
Maybe it's the gloves. Maybe you should check the gloves that Ricky Bain has on. All right, so after a touchdown that wasn't, followed by a touchdown that was, and an extra point that was blocked, Kellis takes over at their own 20-yard line, 1st and 10 with under a minute to play. 55 seconds left in the first quarter. And this time O'Banion will go back in the spread with Marcus Hackney next to him. And O'Banion will take this one himself. Out of the shotgun, running right up the middle. 1st down and more. Out to midfield before he's finally brought down by 5 Copper Canyon Aztecs, including the big man Tyler Rucker.
And a good 34-yard run there, just countering back. These rushing attacks are something else here tonight. Must be the full moon, as you mentioned, Ken. These offenses are clicking early.
O'Banion showing that it's not just Payne and Bain who have the speed to burn, as he just made no bones about it. Right out of the shotgun, taking it right up the middle. 34-yard gain to the 45. This might be the last play of the first quarter. Espinosa split wide to the left. Backs in the offset eye. Second man through is Payne. Payne cuts inside at the 30. And he's finally pushed out of bounds by Monzel Childress, but not before he gets down inside the 10 to about the 7.
And a great cut back to the inside of the field, as it looks like he was heading towards the sideline with nothing doing. He just cut right back out and just jolted down the sideline. Monzel Childress, you'll also see him play some wide receiver for Copper Canyon, but a big run, although there is a flag down at about the 30. We'll await the ruling on that one in just a moment.
It is on Kellis. And so once again, the Cougars get a big gain, and it's going to be brought back.
But nonetheless, if you're Copper Canyon, you got to be scared that all these plays are working, even though they are being turned back. Their defensive flaws are being showed here, and it may not even be flaws. It may just be the fantastic speed of this Kellis offense, as they've been able to run wherever they want and run all over this Copper Canyon defense so far.
Block in the back, brings the ball back to the 40, but because it's a spot foul, it's 1st and 5 now. O'Banion again, flanker screen to the left side. Complete to Jackson. Jackson comes back inside, and he's down to about the 35, just over it. So he's going to have the 1st down.
Nice job there by Nathan Jackson, trying to find a little bit of a seam, utilizing his blockers, directing them where to go, and picking up just enough. Picking up 5 and getting that 1st down by just a couple of inches, about by half a foot. But a 1st down. Kellis keeps the chains moving here in the first quarter.
They lead it 14-13. Now they're trying to get the chain gang to actually pick up and move. And they do. And they'll set it, wind the clock, and I do not believe the Cougars will get a playoff before the first quarter comes to a close. So an exciting first quarter here at Raymond S. Kellis High School in Glendale, Arizona. We'll be right back on the IBN Sports Broadcasting Network. Second quarter begins with the Kellis Cougars leading the Copper Canyon Aztecs 14-13. Glad you're with us live tonight on the IBN Sports Broadcasting Network, or watching us later on demand. I'm Ken Tomash along with Mike West. Ken Peak is our video journalist, and Malik Robinson is keeping us on the air, doing a great job as it's 1st and 10 now from the 35-yard line of Copper Canyon. And Raymond Payne gets up the middle for about 6 yards, so brings up a 2nd and short.
Nice run there by Raymond Payne up through the left side of that line, picking up about 6 and picking up really right where they left off. We remember that first drive, they were doing a good job rushing on 1st down, picking up about 5 yards per 1st down and really establishing their running game to open up those screen passes that went for touchdowns to Ricky Bain and Raymond Payne.
Spotted at the 30, so a gain of 5, 2nd and 5. Hackney is the lone back, and he gets the call up the middle. Fights forward, the ball is on the turf, and Copper Canyon says they've got it. And they do. Well, when you're facing a 1-6 team, and you're at home on homecoming and a big favorite, these are the things that can keep your opponent in the game, turning over the football and making mistakes like that.
And it's not demoralizing, it's just frustrating because they had a great drive going there down into opponent's territory and really looked like they had something going here to start the 2nd quarter, picking off that, continuing off that drive, I should say, but a turnover here. And we'll see what Copper Canyon offense has up their sleeve after that big 74-yard run on their first drive, capped off by a 1-yard Stephen Lacunza, touchdown run.
1st down from the 26. Lacunza will throw this one up in the air and almost a circus catch by Monzel Childress, but good coverage there by Marco Pineda and Anthony Eberhardt. That's just to let them know that they can throw the ball there.
And Childress had a nice 1st down grab in the 1st quarter where he was actually short of a 1st down but spun out of a couple tackles and picked up some more and was the victim of a personal foul as well, picking up a couple more yards. And that actually ended up helping Copper Canyon to get their first touchdown score of the game.
2nd quarter just underway. Clock stopped, 11 minutes, 14 seconds to go in the half. And again, they'll go to the run. And Grubbs is going to be pushed back for no gain. Maybe a loss. It'll be 3rd and long.
Nowhere to go there for Michael Grubbs as the D-line for Kellis just overpowered the Copper Canyon offensive line on that play. Nowhere to go for Grubbs. I don't care how good you are, but when you only have a half second with the ball, you're not going to be able to get too far. Wasn't even able to get outside once he got the ball. A good job there. Credit the the Kellis defense of penetrating inside.
Kalen Robinson now, the split end, bottom of your screen. Gonzalez in motion. They draw the defensive end, and it's picked off. Lacunza's pass is picked off, and Kellis is going to be in great position after Alan Counts makes the interception. All the way down to the 1-yard line.
And a big play, and that's how Kellis gets it right back. They turn it over and force a turnover themselves, and now they're right down to, I believe, the 1.5 yard line. A big chance here for Kellis to get some points back after that lost drive.
Well, they drew the defenders in, set up the screen, and unfortunately one of those defenders was right there. And Counts took it down to the 1. First and goal. Again, O'Banion in the spread with Hackney next to him. O'Banion's going to take it himself, and he'll get in for the touchdown. No question on that one. The fireworks explode again as Kellis extends their lead.
And that was an easy run to the right. He has too much room to run in a great open field there. Great blocking by the offensive line. And Kellis gets right back on top. And Ken, we've really seen these two teams exchange equal blows. They traded touchdowns on the first 4 possessions. And now with turnovers back-to-back for both teams, Kellis takes advantage of their takeaway and now puts it in for what should be 7 points, and it is.
Eberhardt's kick is good. So the quarterbacks have exchanged 1-yard touchdown runs. That latest one by Adam O'Banion makes it Kellis 21, Copper Canyon 13. Talking about this Copper Canyon team, Mike, we told you that they had a 17-game losing streak. through week 1 of this season and then broke that with a 32-27 win at Tempe in the season's second game. Michael Grubbs had over 220 yards in that game. They also had a good effort against Peoria 2 weeks later, losing by 10. And so this is more like it. If you're an Aztec fan, you're watching your team, and they've got some people who've shown up on the far side, much more than traveled last week to Sunrise Mountain, and they're seeing a good show by the guys in white.
And to their credit, they're not playing like a 1-6 team. They've been doing a good job on offense. They've been executing for the most part outside of that last turnover that we just saw. Their running game's been extremely effective. Stephen Lacunza with a touchdown and Michael Grubbs as well. And Anthony Goldsmith with that big 70-plus yard run to set up a touchdown by Lacunza. It's keeping them in this game, and give them credit. Their offense has been looking a lot better than a team who's only scored 14 points in the past 2 games combined.
Here's the other thing that can keep you in games besides turnovers is special teams plays, and they could use a big one here. Davis isn't going to give Grubbs a chance to do that. Instead, it's Uribe, and Uribe will set him up in pretty good field position, just a 6-yard return, but he picked it up cleanly and true and got out across the 40 to the 41, and so the Aztecs will take over there with 10:18 to play in the first half, and they trail just by 8.
And Kellis still taking no chances with Michael Grubbs. We saw the ball being kicked to Ricky Bain for Kellis for the first time tonight, but still none of the 3 kickoffs have gone even close to Michael Grubbs. But setting up here at the 40, a shorter field for Copper Canyon.
Jonathan Gonzalez is the setback. Goldsmith in motion. And a decent gain on first down at the middle there, as Gonzalez, who's not very big, just 5'8", 175 pounds, but he got some play in the second half last week. Ran for 21 yards, and he gets about 4 there to the 45, so 2nd and 6. Clock running, 9:46 to play in the half. Gonzalez now will shift out of there and go in motion. They'll pitch to Grubbs. Grubbs stops on a dime and cuts back up inside, as he was staring right in the face of big Jarvis Lewis, number 88, cut inside to elude him, but could not get away from the rest of the blue shirts.
And still what we've seen is Kellis doing a good job of not giving Michael Grubbs anywhere to go. We saw it last week. Michael Grubbs could not get to the outside, and that's why they only scored 7 points. And the same continues here tonight, Ken. They've been forcing him to go up the middle, but give Kellis credit. They've been holding down the middle part of the field and giving him nowhere to run.
Now Grubbs will go to the wing back left. Gonzalez is a lone setback. Lacunza drops back, throws this one over the top, and it is almost intercepted. Eberhardt thought he had it. Does he? Yes. He picked that one up off his shoe tops. Now we're a little obscured there by the people on the sidelines, but the official is right there covering it, says yes, Eberhardt came up with the interception.
And they'll take over at the 45 here. Nice play there. That ball couldn't quite tell. You mentioned we were a little bit obstructed, had a couple players and coaches in the way down there. But a turnover nonetheless, and back-to-back possessions of turnovers for Copper Canyon. Kellis now taking over at the 45-yard line, 55 yards to Pater.
Back-to-back drives snuffed out by interception. And O'Banion will pitch this one at the last second to Wayman Payne, and Payne is tackled there by Ralph Mendez. He had 9 tackles last week in the loss at Sunrise Mountain, and he comes up with one there for a loss.
Risky pitch there by O'Banion, and still just a loss of 1.5. They call it 2 on the scoreboard. Now they'll call it 1. Nowhere to go on that one. Good job by the Copper Canyon defense sniffing out that one.
Second and 11 now, 8:18 to play in the half. They again go up the middle. And Payne, still with his legs churning, gets across midfield to the 49 of Copper Canyon.
We've seen a lot of Wayman Payne, not much Marcus Hackney, but Wayman Payne going up the middle there and just kept those legs moving for about 6 yards there, setting up a 3rd and 5, just a little bit past midfield, but a big 3rd down play here for Kellis.
Hackney had 182 yards last week against Agua Fria, but it's been Wayman Payne getting the bulk of the carries, and Payne is in there now as, again, O'Banion shifts back into the shotgun. On 3rd and 5 from the 49 of Copper Canyon. Big play for the Aztecs. O'Banion cranks it up, complete to Eberhard across the middle, first down and more. And again, making the tackle is Tyler Rucker. But a first down for the Cougars, and they are on the move.
And Eberhard, we also see him as the kicker. We've seen him on a couple of PATs so far, but a nice grab there, keeping the chains moving. A nice throw there by O'Banion. He came into this game and actually eclipsed the 800-yard passing mark on the season earlier in the first quarter. But a nice strike there. He was wide open. Lots of cushion given there by the Copper Canyon defense.
First down now to the 39-yard line of Copper Canyon. Again, they'll overload the right side with 3 speedy receivers, including Nathan Jackson. Man at the bottom of the screen, but they'll swing this one out, and that's a backward pass. And Ricky Bain had to chug after it, just in case Copper Canyon was able to get to it. They weren't. We've seen O'Banion drop back and do the quick flanker screen. That time he threw it a little bit farther back, and that's a backward pass and a live ball. So it's going to be put back into play from where it went out of bounds. That's a big loss.
That's about a loss of 9 there, Ken, and we saw that play work earlier to the same man that he was going for there, Ricky Bain. He took it for about a 20-yard touchdown on a catch and run. Not working there. 2nd and 19 now, pushing him all the way back to the 48. Not the way Kellis wanted to respond after that first down.
Espinoza now goes wide to the top, and Kyle Stegg will come wide to the bottom of your screen. O'Banion in the spread with Hackney. Take a few steps back, and again throws a strike over the middle. It is caught complete Espinoza, but Espinoza is going to be short of the first down.
And Espinoza's had a couple nice catches there. That one in traffic, about 3 defenders within a triangle of him. 2 behind and 1 in front. He made a nice catch earlier as he was falling down and adjusted to get back up and make the grab. A nice play there to make it 3rd and manageable after a 2nd and very long.
Stephen Lacunza, who does double duty as well, on the stop. But it'll be 3rd and about 5, a long 5. Backs in an eye. Defenders were in a hurry, and they drop O'Banion. That is going to be a sack by Tyler Rucker and Andrew Rio. They both got to him, sandwiched him, and it's going to be 4th and 11. Boy, they got over so fast, it makes you wonder how they must have anticipated the snap count really well, because they weren't offside.
And it wasn't just one guy jumping it well. It was about four guys right there getting into the backfield. Now, O'Banion actually shook that first tackle off to avoid the sack, but it was eventually brought down. And they feel it's 4-down territory here, 4th and 11 in Copper Canyon territory.
O'Banion now on 4th down again, and this time he overthrows Eberhard, so the Copper Canyon defense holds and forces another turnover on downs.
And the second time they've forced a turnover on downs so far today. And they'll be taken over from the 41-yard line, their own 41-yard line, that is. So again, another decent job of getting field position here for Copper Canyon and staying in this game. They got a chance if they can get a good offensive series going here. They're down by only 8 points, 1 possession. They can get right back in this one with a solid drive.
Their last 2 drives have ended in interceptions. The last one didn't cost them anything but time, because Kellis just turned the ball over on downs, but now on first down from their own 41, again they will go back to that double reverse, but this time nothing doing. Kellis sniffed it out, and Anthony Goldsmith is dropped for a loss.
Kellis doing a good job of not getting fooled twice right there and snuffing out that double reverse that went for a big gain earlier in this game, and making sure that one went nowhere but backwards.
Good work by the defenders to stay at home and not bite on Michael Grubbs, which would be your tendency when he's your danger man. We're under 5 minutes to play in the half now. Clock running, 4:51 to go. Gonzalez now the lone setback as Grubbs moved out on the wing. Lacunza again to throw, whips it out there. It is complete. Kalen Robinson is dropped there. And they're going to be short of the first down. It's going to be 3rd and about 7.
Nice catch there by Robinson, setting up that 3rd and 6 here from about the 44-yard line. Given a little bit of cushion, but made the grab. Making it for this 3rd and 6 coming up here.
They have to get just across the midfield stripe. So it's a long 6. They'll have Raymond Johnson again on one wing, Grubbs on the right wing, and Gonzalez as the lone back as Lacunza drops to throw. Quick throw, and they'll toss it back on the hook and ladder, and it was not executed very well. As instead of 4th and short, it's going to be 4th and long. Catch was made, but then they tried to do the hook and ladder, and that works better on the wide side of the field, not so much on the narrow side of the field. It calls for pretty good timing. And timing was something that the Aztecs did not have on that play. So, but for the first time tonight, Copper Canyon forced to punt, and this was an adventure last week for Ulysses Barunda as he had a couple snaps go over his head, had a punt blocked. He also got run into. The left footer gets off a pretty good punt. Eberhardt fumbles it at the 30, muffs the punt, and is able to fall on it at the 26-yard line. So that could have been a disaster for Kellis, but instead they'll have the first down at their own 26-yard line.
Favorable bounce there for Eberhardt as that one bounced right up into his chest and he was able to fall on it. That would have been huge for Copper Canyon. They would have taken over from about the 25-yard line, but instead it's Kellis at their own 26, taking it the other way.
32-yard punt by Ulysses Barunda. Now Kellis with 3:52 to play in the first half and all 3 timeouts. We'll put 4 receivers out, slot men on both sides. Hackney again, the only back with O'Banion out of the spread. And O'Banion sets sail all by himself. Gets away from the first man, but is finally pushed out of bounds after a gain of about 5. He made Hugo Alvarado miss, but he could not get away from Tyler Rucker. Not many people do get away from Tyler Rucker when they play Copper Canyon. And we will have a timeout as the officials will call timeout.
And we saw O'Banion rip off a big 30-plus yard run earlier today, also as a short rushing touchdown for Kellis. And we've seen him over the course of the year be able to run the ball and run it well. Over 400 rushing yards coming into today's game, and he's been adding to it ever since.
So the officials are satisfied that everything is as it should be. So while the clock was temporarily stopped, but referee Michael Lang is going to go over and talk with Mike Segovia and give him a report. We are at Raymond S. Kellis High School at Glendale, Arizona. Ken Tomash and Mike West with you. We've got 3 minutes and 45 seconds to go in the first half of play. It's homecoming here at Kellis, and the Cougars are in a real dogfight with the Copper Canyon Aztecs, leading them just 21-13. And facing a 2nd and 5 at their own 32. Pitch it to Payne this time. And Payne may have eked out a yard, but it'll be 3rd and maybe 4.
Nowhere to go on that play. Pitched out to the left and tried to cut back inside, did Wayman Payne. But Copper Canyon all over the middle of the field there, stopping that one, because we've seen what Wayman Payne can do in the open field, as electric as a runner as Kellis has. Stop that one. 3rd and 3 now from the 32.
So now they'll go with the eye with Hackney and Payne, and now Payne will come up and they'll give it to Hackney. A big game a week ago, and he's got nothing doing up the middle. Gets to the 35, and it's going to be 4th and about 2. And now it's decision time for Jason Golden.
And credit the defensive line there, and really credit the defensive line on every snap that Marcus Hackney has gotten so far in this game. Powerful inside runner, and really has had nowhere to go, plugging up those holes in the D-line. Doing a good job of winning the battle in the trenches against Marcus Hackney.
So after not having had to punt a week ago in the win at Agua Fria, they'll send Anthony Eberhardt in to punt. Josh Moyer had been their regular punter much of the year. I say that, but the Cougars rarely have had to punt this year. Eberhardt gets it high, but kind of short. And it's going to be scooped up there, but only for a moment. An ill-advised play by Raymond Johnson. as Ricky Bain came up with the ball, and I think Kellis is going to have it. You can't advance it, but they've got the ball. Boy, and Monzel Childress was back deep telling everybody get away from that ball, but Raymond Johnson may not have heard him. He tried to pick up the ball off the bounce, and instead it went out of his hands, and Ricky Bain, getting down there on coverage, came up with a football, and the drive continues for Kellis.
And we've seen Raymond Johnson make a couple nice plays both on offense and defense. Unfortunately for him, not making the best of choices there on that play, and Kellis now in business after being shut down on their first 3 plays, their most recent 3 plays, I should say. And now they're in opponent territory here within the 40.
2:08 to play in the first half. Kellis again has all 3 timeouts. And O'Banion again will go from the spread. He's got 2 backs there with him. He's got Payne as an option. He almost had his head taken off. And he's hit hard there at the 40-yard line, but he pops right back up. O'Banion's a tough little guy. Ralph Mendez, 5'8" sophomore, their number 2 tackler, laid a lick on him at the 40, and O'Banion got inside the 40 to the 39.
And a tough kid is right. He worked his way out of that first would-be sack and then just got clocked behind the line for a loss of 3 now as we push it back a little bit closer to the 40 from the 39. They'll spot it.
Clock continues to run, 1:32, and O'Banion looks like he's confused about what the play call is, so the Cougars will take their first of 3 timeouts here in the first half. Well, this game has not really gone according to script, as if you were just looking at this matchup on paper, Mike West, it was your traditional homecoming massacre, but Copper Canyon had other ideas, and they are every bit in this game. By hook or by crook, as I said earlier, they've made some big plays when they had to, and were it not for a couple of interceptions that snuffed out offensive drives, maybe this would be even closer than an 8-point game.
And Copper Canyon not exactly playing like a 1-6 team. As I said earlier, their offense has been doing a good job of executing for the most part, albeit they do have a couple of turnovers on the game. Kellis has had some nice drives, but just really haven't been able to make the most out of them. A couple turnovers on downs and another turnover as well. So we've seen a fair share of turnovers, but in the first about 14 minutes, plenty of offensive fireworks.
So O'Banion has the play now, and he'll set up behind big Nick Garfinkel, the senior center. Reliable long snapper. 2nd and 13 now from the 39 with 1:29 to go in the half. Kellis leading at 21-13 over Copper Canyon. The blitz. They'll pitch it to Jackson on the reverse. O'Banion paid for that one, but Jackson gets a few yards, but we've got a flag down.
O'Banion's taken a couple of licks in the past couple of minutes, but tough kid staying in the game, and Nathan Jackson trying to shift his way up through the middle of the field. And we'll await the call of the flag on the field.
Tyler Rucker may have thought it was too good to be true, and it really was, but the block in the back will set him back. The original line of scrimmage was the 39. Jackson got to about the 36. It is another block in the back on Kellis. And so it's going to push him back to about the 46-yard line.
Got about 20 yards to go. Got to get to just about the 26-yard line if my eyes don't deceive me. Long way to go, though. 2nd and 20 here.
They'll put 3 receivers to the right side. And O'Banion again out of the spread. Drops back, gets some protection. Eberhard almost made an amazing one-handed catch.
Got one of the mitts on it right there, but not able to pull in the one-handed catch. And to his credit, that would have had to have been a heck of a grab there, but give him credit for getting downfield and almost hauling in what would have been the play of the day there for Eberhard.
So it'll be 3rd and 19 now. Maybe 20. With 1:04 to play in the half. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining. Copper Canyon hoping they'll get the ball back, but not assured of it. Again, they'll send Eberhard out to the right, along with Nathan Jackson. Eberhardt's in the slot. Again, O'Banion just throws it up for grabs, and it was caught and dropped. Bain coming back to the ball. Had it go into his gut at the 45, but it fell incomplete to the ground, and O'Banion again had Tyler Rucker all over him almost from the instant he got the ball. It'll be 4th and 20, and with only 57 seconds left, it looks like Eberhardt's going to go back and punt for the second time. Monzel Childress, and I'm sure Childress, if he wants everybody to get away from it, is going to yell a little bit louder than he did the last time. From the 46, and we've got a flag flying. Maybe too much time or procedure call, we'll see. It is procedure. So Eberhardt from 5 yards farther back actually might give him a little bit of a better chance of dropping this inside the 10. Nick Garfinkel's snap will come from his own 49-yard line. The snap is true. Eberhardt, a low wobbler. Picked up at the 15. Monzel Childress blazing up the far side, and he gets nailed by the punter Eberhardt. A flag comes flying in. And I wonder if it's for hitting him high or hitting him late. We'll see.
A couple flags on the field there, but waiting for that ball to trickle into him was Monzel Childress, and picked it up and did a good job of going towards the far sideline and picking up some nice yardage there. We'll await the call, but regardless, a nice return there from Monzel Childress for Copper Canyon.
A block in the back on Copper Canyon, so that's why the nice return. That was a good display of speed. Childress, another one of those juniors, just 5'8", about the size of Michael Grubbs, and showing Grubbs-like speed. But unfortunately, the block in the back will push it back, and so Copper Canyon has 2 timeouts. They trail it by 8. What you don't want here is a turnover that gives Kellis the ball with a chance to extend that lead before halftime. It doesn't look like they're just going to kneel on it by any means. They're going to send 4 receivers out, 2 to each side. Lacunza again. Keeps it himself and gets out across the 45 to about the 35 rather, to the 36, and they'll take their second timeout.
And it was Jarvis Lewis getting into the backfield there again. Doing a good job so far this game of putting pressure on the quarterback and limiting that for a couple of yards on the gain there, but credit Lacunza, he could have gone down to the backfield, but snuck up through the middle and makes it about a 2nd and 7. 2nd and 6 possibly.
Lacunza, their second leading rusher at 175 yards coming in. Way behind Michael Grubbs, of course, who went over the 1,000-yard mark with 101 tough yards a week ago. So with 36.7 seconds to go in the first half from Kellis High School in Glendale, Arizona, Copper Canyon trails at 21-13 to the home team. They've just taken their second timeout. And they're looking at a 2nd and 6 or 7 from their own 35 now is the official spot.
2nd and 7 for the Aztecs. 36 seconds left on the clock.
So Lacunza now will drop back into the spread. Again, the quick throw off the hands of Monzel Childress.
That ball just a little bit behind Childress on that one. Would have been a tough play to make. Would have required a heck of an adjustment last second. Couldn't quite pull it in. 3rd and 7 coming up here. Ball on just about the 35-yard line.
Dying moments of the first half. Copper Canyon very much alive. Trailing Kellis 21-13. Facing a 3rd and 7 now at their own 35. Key 3rd down to convert. Fake the throw, and the draw play crushed. Now if you're Kellis here, you might take a timeout. And
again,
they did.
And again, we've seen nowhere for Michael Grubbs to run. And we've really seen that from both sides. Michael Grubbs not being able to get anywhere, and Marcus Hackney coming off a big 180-plus yard game just a week ago. Really has been bottled up so far to start this game. The defense doing some good and some bad. It's 21-13 is the score, so there have been some touchdowns. We have seen some big plays so far, but a nice play there on the Kellis defense as they call timeout and hope to get the ball back for a quick strike.
So they force a fourth down situation, and you presume Ulysses Barunda would go into punt. Told you about the adventures he had a week ago. So it's anything but an easy play. It's going to be 4th and 12 from the 30 as Anthony Eberhardt drops back to his own 39-yard line, awaiting what he presumes will be the punt.
Eberhardt had some trouble with the last punt he took in. Muffed it, but was able to fall on it and retain possession as Kellis would take over at the 25-yard line.
Barunda is in. Ralph Mendez to snap, but they fake it. Rayvon Johnson has the first down and more. And Eberhardt, who is back to return the punt, makes the stop, but not before Rayvon Johnson takes the direct snap and runs for the first down.
So Rayvon Johnson atoning there with a nice run. Now we've seen some bold play calls from the Copper Canyon team. The start on the opening kickoff, the onside kick, which failed, but a big play call there to run it on 4th down on the fake. And picked up a healthy chunk of yardage there, close to about 25 yards, I'd say.
22 officially.
22, we'll call it.
And so with 16.9 seconds to go, Copper Canyon takes the 3rd and final timeout of the half. And if Mike Segovia has stuff in his bag of tricks that he hasn't gotten to yet tonight, now might be when you pull that out. They've tried the hook and ladder already. Didn't work. Tried the onside kick, didn't work. The fake punt did work. So now we'll see what else he has up his sleeve. Again, we're at Raymond S. Kellis High School in Glendale, Arizona. Ken Tomash and Mike West with you. We are a long stone's throw away from the University of Phoenix Stadium where the Arizona Cardinals play. And it's homecoming here at Kellis. And the crowd a little subdued. Would normally be a very festive atmosphere because their team leads Copper Canyon just 21-13, and the Aztecs have the football with a 1st and 10 on the Cougar 43-yard line. Lacunza again back. Feels the pressure, and he's going to be dropped for a loss of a couple, and they are out of timeouts. So it looks like that may be the last play. I don't think they're going to be able to get lined up, get everyone back, and be able to really do anything with it. Childress rushing back to get on his side of the ball, and he cannot, and that is the end of the first half of play. An entertaining first 24 minutes. A surprising first 24 minutes. If you expected Kellis to blow out Copper Canyon, well, it hasn't happened yet. As we go to the break, our score: the Kellis Cougars 21 and the Copper Canyon Aztecs 13. We're back at Kellis High School in Glendale, Arizona. Ken Tomash and Mike West with you. Mike, that was an exciting first quarter. Things kind of settled down a little bit in the second quarter, got a little bit sloppier, but Copper Canyon still very much in this ballgame, just down 21-13 at the break.
Yeah, within the first 14 minutes, we saw 5 touchdowns from both sides. Both teams getting it going early. We saw for Kellis the catch and run really working. Wayman Payne and Ricky Bain both with receiving touchdowns. Adam O'Banion also ran one in. But the running game has been very impressive on both sides. And for Copper Canyon, give them credit. They're not playing like a 1-6 team like they were coming in as. They've been playing very well on the offensive side of the ball, and they're only down 1 touchdown coming into the second half.
And their defense has made some key stops. It's been a couple of turnovers. They had a muffed punt, went back over to Kellis. Yep. They threw 2 interceptions, one of which set up a touchdown. But other than that, they're still hanging in this game, down just 21-13. And now they get the ball to start the third quarter, so they have a chance to make a statement offensively if they can get Grubbs going, but he has not been able to find much running room in the first half.
And you mentioned Grubbs being kind of bottled up. Give Kellis' defense a lot of credit. This is a talented runner, up over 100 yards every game so far this season. Had 233 yards earlier this year, so a very capable runner, a guy who can chunk up yards easily, and with the best of them in this league. But Kellis' defense has done a great job of getting inside and not letting him get to the outside, because that's where he's dangerous, being able to showcase that speed. He hasn't gotten an opportunity yet so far tonight.
Well, if Copper Canyon's going to actually pull off the upset here tonight, they're going to have to reduce the turnovers, obviously, and they're going to need some big plays from somebody. Somebody's going to have to make a big play. We saw a 74-yard run in that first half that set up a touchdown. They're going to need more big plays like that. We'll see if they can get it here in the second half. So Copper Canyon very much hoping that Michael Grubbs will be able to get his hand on the football here on Colin Davis's next kickoff. That's a move they haven't been able to pull off so far in this game. But Grubbs is back deep at his own 5. And Colin Davis will get the second half underway. He'll squib it along the ground. It'll go off the hand of Uribe. And Shaquille Johnson has his second kickoff return of the game, and he's out across the 40 to the 41. Not bad field position at all for Copper Canyon.
And still, none of the 4 kickoffs have been kicked deep to Michael Grubbs, still staying away from him, not taking any chances with his big playability. And Shaquille Johnson gets it to about the 40-yard line. And that's where Copper Canyon will start this second half.
Steven Lacunza threw 2 interceptions in the first half. He's in there to start the second half with Tyler Rucker and Michael Grubbs. Rucker's 44, Grubbs is number 5. Grubbs gets the carry on first down, slices up the middle and makes a 3-yard gain out of nothing. You see the elusiveness there. Even if he didn't have a very big hole to run through, he didn't need much. Darted through, and they will call it a 3-yard gain, 2nd and 7.
Yeah, and he just knifed through that defensive line up there, and that was a lot what you saw last week, Ken, was even though he wasn't getting much blocking, he was still able to pick up those yards and get up over the 100-yard mark on the game, 101 yards just a week ago.
2nd and 7 now from the 43. Lacunza ran into his own blocker and overthrew his man, Kalen Robinson.
That ball with a little bit too much mustard on it, right through the mitts. That ball incomplete. 3rd and 7 coming up here on the opening drive for Copper Canyon.
So first real key play of the third quarter here, as Copper Canyon needs to convert on 3rd down, or else Kellis will get the ball for the first time in the second half with some momentum off a defensive stop. The give to Grubbs, and he has his ankles taken out from under him. Kyle Stagg makes the stop. Stagg was named homecoming king in the halftime festivities, and he definitely cashed in on that play, stopping Grubbs for a loss and bringing up 4th down and about 10.
And Ken, we were joking around during the break at halftime. Watch out if he has a big second half coming off that homecoming king nomination. But a nice tackle there nonetheless, a great football play there. Getting Grubbs by the ankles there, and still nowhere to go for Michael Grubbs. He's still being bottled up.
Ulysses Barunda had success with punts in the first half. Gets that one, it goes off. Ricky Bain still waiting for a signal. It looked like it may have gone off Ricky Bain, but no, they're going to say that Kellis retains possession. Boy, they lucked out there.
Yeah, that one must have split the wickets for Ricky Bain. Very fortunate, but an interesting, crazy little bounce there, taking a weird hop to the right. Must have gone right through his legs. A fortunate bounce for Kellis, but the defense, give them credit. They forced a 3 and out on the first drive, and Copper Canyon will stay off the board for now. Kellis with possession.
Tell you what, that football is oddly shaped. It bounces funny. And luckily for the Cougars, who lead at 21-13, they will not lose possession. And they lead it with 10:29 to go in the third quarter. They'll put trips to the right side. It's Ricky Bain in motion. They'll pitch it to Wayman Payne. Payne gets away from one tackler, and he just gets killed by Tyler Rucker. Rucker with a big hit. We've got a couple of flags down, 3 flags down to be exact.
We saw a heavy dose of Raymond Payne out of the Kellis offense in the first half, and picking up right where they left off. Payne to the right side, getting a couple of good blocks.
And they've had a few of those big gains that were negated by blocks in the back, and that time by a holding foul. And so Michael Lang and crew, Ron Tate will mark off the infraction, and Kellis is going to be a little closer to their own goalposts.
And we saw the penalties hurt Kellis in the first half, both offensively and defensively. Raymond Payne had just about a handful of big runs and nice plays out of the backfield for Kellis, but were negated due to penalties. And a couple of personal fouls actually helped lead Copper Canyon to their first offensive touchdown of the game.
1st and 20. Backs in the eye. Again, the quick throw. It's complete to Jackson, and Jackson is gang tackled there. And Copper Canyon's fortunate they didn't get a late hit call there, but they did stop Nathan Jackson. Coming in was their leading receiver.
And electing to pass there on first down instead of run. It was 2nd and 20 to start off. Just picking up a couple there, chipping away, trying to make it more manageable as 3rd down approaches. 2nd and 14 now currently from the 29-yard line.
Again with backs in the eye, and Hackney comes out and goes in motion. They'll again go to Payne. Flag down as Payne gets through across the 35 to about the 37, but once again, the officiating crew sees something that shouldn't be, and it's going to be another hold on Kellis. This Kellis offensive line is senior laden. Only left tackle Darvin Woods is a junior. Oh, check that. Wrong offensive line. They actually do have the left side of the line as juniors, Wesley Kohler and Andrew Church, but center Nick Garfinkel, right guard Jose Loera, and right tackle Matt Bingham are all seniors.
And this will just keep making it harder on this Kellis offense, keep getting pushed back here. The second holding call and just about as many plays on this drive, the opening drive for Kellis in the second half here.
O'Banion wanted to throw deep, had to take the short option to Jackson, and Jackson is pushed out of bounds by Ralph Mendez, who gets yet another tackle beside his name tonight.
The second grab for Nathan Jackson on the drive. He's had a couple catches here tonight. And as you mentioned just a few minutes ago, the go-to receiver, leading receiver for this Kellis offense, came into the game with 15 catches, 3 of them for touchdowns and over 230 yards. And he's showing the steady hands again here on the opening drive of the second half.
They have to get to the 48-yard line for a first down. So it's 3rd and about 27. Again, backs in the eye. Banyan rolling out, gets a good block, and overthrows his man, nearly picked off. That is nearly the 2nd interception by Rayvon Johnson tonight.
And Kyle Stegg not too happy with himself there, but in all fairness, you're going to have to be one heck of an athlete and about 6'7" to make that grab, and something that wasn't quite on his side. Nearly completed, though, but at the same time, a risky throw into double coverage downfield. But they would have needed more than 20 yards to pick up that first down. Kind of a go-for-it-all mentality on that 3rd down there.
Anthony Eberhard to punt for the first time in the second half. Monzel Childress standing back at his own 40. And O'Banion is the up man, so be alert. Snap is true. Eberhard gets it high in the air, but fairly short. Will take a bounce. And Childress had to skip out of the way of that one. It's very fortunate that didn't hit off his shoe, because Kellis was down there to pounce on it. And they will get the ball at their own 41-yard line with exactly 9 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter, trailing still 21-13.
And we haven't seen a score since, I believe, the 10:21 mark to go in the 2nd quarter. So we've gone over 1 quarter without any sort of points after seeing, let's count it up here, 34 points in only the first 14 minutes. So the defense stepping up after it was all offense early.
First down, Copper Canyon at their own 41-yard line. Ken Tomash and Mike West with you from Raymond S. Kellis High School in Glendale, Arizona on the IBN Sports Broadcasting Network. I'll hand it off to Michael Grubbs. Grubbs finds a seam, but he cannot get through the next level. It's a gain of about 3. And you can see he was just this far away from breaking it.
And that's kind of been the case for him this game. And you see him just getting closer and closer to breaking off that big run. But a good job of grabbing his arm and making the tackle and making sure he doesn't rip off a run or at least pick up a first down on that play.
Send Eric Branham shifting to the far side. Grubbs again with a handoff, and again he's pushed way back. And once again, leading the charge, Jarvis Lewis.
Yeah, more than half the Kellis defense there to meet Michael Grubbs in the backfield. And again, nowhere to go, trying to go to the inside, nothing to be found up there. And he had nowhere to go to the outside. This Kellis defense has done a great job of game planning and strategizing around stopping Michael Grubbs. And a fantastic job so far done here tonight.
So it's 3rd and about 9. So once again, the Aztecs facing a 3rd and long in a key situation, trying to keep the drive alive. Acunza out of the shotgun. He's got pressure, turns it up inside. He's going to be dropped short. Gets out to about the 45-yard line.
And that ball actually came loose, and I think it trickled out of bounds. Not sure who forced the fumble there, but again, loose ball, live ball. But Copper Canyon recovers and not able to pick up the first down on that 3rd down play.
So for the 2nd straight possession, Ulysses Barunda is going to have to punt. And Anthony Eberhardt is back deep, standing his own 25. 7.5 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. They faked one of those in the first half, but Barunda's left footer goes right to Eberhardt at his own 32. Fair catch there, and that is where the Kellis Cougars will get their 2nd possession of the 2nd half underway with 7 minutes and 27 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. And you mentioned the scoring output in that 1st quarter where we saw 4 touchdowns, and we've only seen the one since. It's been a back and forth game, and at this point, with 7.5 minutes to go in the 3rd, it is very much anyone's game. We've got a holding call on Kellis now. That has been something that obviously Coach Jason Golden is going to address next week, because you want to be playing your best football at this time of year with the playoffs just a few weeks away, and you don't want to be having holding calls and mistakes like that. Again, Kellis is off next week before traveling to Peoria on November the 5th in their season finale. So the penalty pushes them back to the 32. Where it'll be 1st and 10. Marcus Hackney and Wayman Payne in the backfield. They've combined for over 1,200 yards this season. Payne gets out of the embrace of the first tackler, Anthony Sandoval, gets to the outside and gets out to about the 26-yard line, gain of about 4, 2nd and 6.
And Wayman Payne's just been really effective tonight on first downs. Been picking up at least 4 a carry. I think he picked up about 4 or 5 there, and just done a great job of alleviating the pressure on Adam O'Banion at quarterback. Because anytime you can start 2nd down a little bit closer to that first down marker, that just seems to make the whole mentality of the team a little bit better and just take a little bit of the weight off the shoulders of not only the offensive line but the quarterback as well.
So again, 3 receivers to the right. Jackson and Espinosa. Rough snap. Takes a nice bounce up to O'Banion, though, and he is able to get the ball away to Wayman Payne, but guess who's there? Tyler Rucker to make the stop.
And Tyler Rucker's been everywhere tonight, as he has been this entire season for Copper Canyon. The team's leader in tackling has been fantastic again here tonight, number 44 on your screen. This will be all over the place and has done a great job in leading this Copper Canyon defense to shutting out Kellis ever since that 10:21 mark in the second quarter.
Boy, and you can just tell the confidence is growing on the guys in white as they are just hanging around and hanging around. 6 minutes to play third quarter. They trail it just 21-13. And now 3rd and 15 for Kellis from their own 17-yard line. O'Banion again with a flanker screen. I swore that ball touched the ground, but Jackson's going to get credit for another catch and a few yards out to about the 25 or 26-yard line.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I thought the nose of the ball hit the ground right there, but either way, it's short of a first down. And so they'll be sending out the punting unit again. Eberhardt deep to punt. 4th and 6, they'll call it from the 17-yard line. But again, Copper Canyon's defense stopping this Kellis offense that looks so unstoppable early on.
Well, special teams are places where the underdog can make some plays and maybe stun a highly favored team. Here's their chance. Eberhardt, this one's a low squibber off the side of his foot. It's going to take a Kellis bounce, though, go across midfield, and this time the Aztecs will stay away from it, and they will start at their own 38-yard line with 5 minutes and 32 seconds to go in the third quarter.
Nice punt there for Eberhardt, but definitely a friendly roll for Kellis, as that one was a little bit short, but hit the right side of that oddly shaped football, as you were talking about early, Ken, and a nice bounce for Kellis, and Copper Canyon will take over on their own side of the field at about the 38, 37 and a half.
These teams traded touchdowns in the first quarter, back and forth, back and forth. They've been trading punts here in the third, and so third possession of the second half for the Aztecs. And they're thinking if they can just break Michael Grubbs one time behind that senior-laden offensive line, they'll have something going. And before this play can get going, we've got a flag. Probably a procedure call on Copper Canyon. No, it's offside on Kellis. So they'll give him 5 free yards, which yards have not been easy to come by for them tonight.
And Ken, you just get the feeling that Michael Grubbs is so overdue for one of those big plays. A talented running back for this Copper Canyon team. You feel that something has to give. But Kellis has done such a great job up front this entire game that it's making it impossible for him to pick up more than 3 yards a carry.
Well, they'll have a short first down play here, 1st and 5 from their own 43. 5:29 to go in the third. Now they'll try to spring Grubbs on the trap. And again, 5 blue shirts meet him after a gain of just a couple.
That's been the story of the game, not just one guy making the tackle. Guys coming in bunches, at least 3 guys per tackle, it seemed to take down Michael Grubbs. And it's been working effectively, strength in numbers for Kellis.
So no gain, and with 5 minutes exactly to play in the third quarter with the clock running, it's a 2nd and 5. We'll send Monzel Childress wide to the bottom of your screen. Fake it to Grubbs. Lacunza being pursued by 5 blue shirts, and finally it's Jarvis Lewis who trips him up for a loss of 2. It'll be 3rd and long.
And again, doing a good job of pursuing. Faking the handoff was Steven Lacunza, but not biting was the Kellis defense as he tried to get to the sideline. Nowhere to go. And the defense just too quick to get to the sideline and cut off that play. 3rd and 7 coming up here.
Jonathan Gonzalez, the sole setback. Anthony Goldsmith will come wide to the bottom of your screen as Lacunza drops quickly, throws complete, 1st down, big hit. But Kalen Robinson comes up with the grab, and it's 1st down out to the midfield stripe.
And a big play and a big confidence booster for Steven Lacunza, only completing 52% of his passes coming into this game. But a nice pass there and a great grab by Robinson, picking up the 1st down, now about to midfield and keeping this drive going.
Clock continues to run after they set the chains. 3:53 and counting in the third quarter. Copper Canyon has a drive going here. Grubbs off the wing back. They'll fake it to him, give it up the middle. Gain of a couple by Jonathan Gonzalez. Gets across midfield and into Kellis territory to about the 47, so gain of 3.
And Ken, it seems like every yard, with the exception of that 74-yard run back in the first half, has been for 3 yards or less. This Kellis defense has done a great job of making sure nothing happens and winning that battle up front. The defensive line has just absolutely overpowered the Copper Canyon O-line, and it's evidenced by the yards per carry.
Now on 2nd and 7, they'll get close to the first down as Grubbs finally finds a little bit of daylight. And it looks like he's going to be just about a yard short.
Just as I say, they can't get a run of more than 3 yards, a pickup of just short of 7 there for Michael Grubbs, but that's got to be his longest run so far of the game.
The important one is coming up right here. They need to convert here to keep the drive alive. 2.5 minutes to play, third quarter. Give it to Gonzalez. Gonzalez, if he's got forward progress, it again is going to be very close, but I think he needed to get to the 40, and I think he's just short. He is, and if you're Mike Segovia, you've got to go for it here.
I completely agree with you there. Just about, they'll call it about 8 or 9 inches to move the chains. You got to go for it here, down 21-13. Just one possession if you go for 2 following a touchdown. But you got to think this is a moment where you go for it, and it appears that they will. Possibly a crucial moment in the game right here, a big momentum builder for either team coming up.
Quarterback sneak. I don't think he got it.
This will be close.
I don't think he got it. This is where you earn your money as a linesman. It's getting that spot. And I think they will have a measurement here.
Oh, this is going to be close.
Yep, he had to get to about the 40. It's going to be very, very close. Key moment in this ball game with 1:37 to go in the third quarter. Steven Lacunza on the quarterback keeper, trying to get the first down on 4th and inches, and they'll bring the chain crew in.
And football is a game of yards, but right here it's going to come down to inches or centimeters, and we'll await the spot.
What are you on the metric system?
Ladies and gentlemen, I would kindly like to invite you.
And
They
they'll
got it.
call it a first down. Wow. By the nose of the football there, huh?
I would love to invite you to join the Cougar Curtain Call. That is the Kellis Grossman Department for their first fall show under the direction.
So now the Aztecs really have to be feeling confident. Got 1:37 to go in the third quarter. They finally put together the first decent drive by either team here in the second half. They're within 40 yards of Kellis's goal and trailing by just 8. Eric Branham shifts to the far side. Grubbs. Oh, he got hit hard.
Wow.
Oh, homecoming king. No, it's O'Banion who dropped him. It wasn't Kyle Stagg 5. It was 7. Adam O'Banion who came up with a head of steam. Maybe working out some of those frustrations that he has for his offense, not being able to perform as he would like here in the second half. But he laid a lick on Grubbs there when it looked like Grubbs was setting sail towards the first down.
Yeah, that's an unstoppable force meeting the immovable object, and the immovable object was not to be denied on that one. What a great hit there from O'Banion.
Kalen Robinson now shifts to the far side. Fake it to Grubbs, and Lacunza looks to throw, but instead takes it up himself. First down and more. Inside the 25 to the 23-yard line. Steven Lacunza making things happen.
And Lacunza, we've seen him. He's had his trouble passing the ball. 2 interceptions here tonight. He actually had 4 interceptions in a game earlier this year, but really playing more composed, playing more within himself, and a great job of tucking it in and running on that play to pick up the first down and some. And they'll be within the 25-yard line and threatening here.
The junior first-year starter, Steven Lacunza, picked up the first down on 4th down on a quarterback sneak. And that time he scrambles for a first down to the 24. This might be the last play of the third quarter. First down, Copper Canyon. They'll give it to Grubbs. That play's a little slow to develop, but he is quick to go to the ground. And that'll do it for the third quarter of play. Same score we had at halftime. We're going to go into the final quarter of play with everything up for grabs. It's homecoming at Kellis. The Cougars still lead Copper Canyon 21-13. Mike West and I will be back with the fourth quarter. You're watching the IBN Sports Broadcasting Network. So the fourth quarter begins and the score remains. Kellis 21, Copper Canyon 13. Ken Tomash and Mike West with you. Lacunza, quick screen out to the left side, complete to Monzel Childress. And as they have been doing much of the night, Kellis Cougars are there in a pack to take down the ball carrier.
And Childress catching a little ball out there to the left, a little screen pass, nowhere to go. And he actually moved backwards on that play, a loss of 1 yard, so 2nd and 11 coming up. But again, Kellis doing a good job of nipping it in the bud and not letting a big play emerge as they're threatening down here to close to the 25-yard line.
It's maybe a little outside of Ulysses Barunda's range as a field goal kicker. Again, they try to set up the screen to Grubbs, and Lacunza, under just too much pressure, had to force the throw. And so it brings up 4th and 11. And again, without a real reliable field goal kicker, Barunda has 8 points after on the year. Had one blocked in the first half. And so they'll take a timeout to try to figure out how best to address this.
And if I'm taking a wild guess, I'm saying they're going for it here.
Oh, yeah, it's not even wild.
Field goals aren't going to win you this game. This is a game that's going to be decided by touchdowns. And when you're currently down 8 points, I figure this late in the game, you're into the fourth quarter, why not go for it? And if you don't convert here, then you're still pinning back Kellis pretty deep, and they've had a hard time getting anything going in the second half, really since early going in the second quarter. Copper Canyon defense has done a great job of bottling up the Kellis offense that we saw put up so many points in the first 5 games of this year, but not quite the same offense that we've seen in the second half here tonight.
The hard part is it's 4th and 11. If it's 4th and short, you've got more options, obviously. Now, Lacunza's hit a couple passes, so maybe he's feeling it. Maybe he's got some confidence and they can do a quick strike. But if they think that Michael Grubbs is going to get 11 yards on 4th and 11, that's going against the grain of what we've seen so far tonight, and they're against a Kellis defense that is fired up to stop them here. Fourth and 11 from the 25, fourth quarter. Lacunza drops to throw. He's got a man open, and it's tipped back in the defensive backfield. Nice play by Francisco Rangel. He had Monzel Childress open on a post pattern, just couldn't get it to him.
Yes, Lacunza was running to his right. Childress was running to his left across the field. A tough play to make. Thrown across the field and somewhat across your body. A tough play to make, but did have him open over in between the hash marks. Turnover on downs nonetheless, and Kellis will take over and try to build on this lead, but have not scored in just about 2 quarters worth of time.
1st and 10 from their own 25 with 11 minutes and 8 seconds to go in the game. Kellis leads it 21-13. And they'll take a timeout. So each team has been forced to use one of their 3 timeouts here in the opening stages of the fourth quarter. We're at Raymond S. Kellis High School in Glendale, Arizona. Ken Tomash and Mike West with you on the IBN Sports Broadcasting Network. Whether you're watching us live or later on, whether you're a Copper Canyon fan watching us live and marveling at how your team is really put things together here tonight, trails at just 21-13, or whether you're watching from somewhere else in the world, we welcome your attendance tonight. Glad to have you with us. You've seen a great game. Didn't look like it was going to be that on paper, but it has turned out to be a terrific contest. It was 14-13 Kellis after a wild first quarter that saw 4 touchdowns. Kellis got the only score of the second quarter, and to this point, that was the last score of this game. It's been 21-13. since we were 1 minute and 39 seconds into the second quarter. And Kellis forced to burn a timeout here. Now they're set to go. Adam O'Banion threw 2 touchdown passes in the first quarter and ran for a score in the second quarter. And he's now under center. And again, the quick strikeout. And again, a big hit there by Monzel Childress on the receiver, but he can't seal the deal. And so a few yards gained there by Jackson. Another reception by Nathan Jackson, but it looks like it's for no gain. It'll be 2nd and 10.
We've been calling Nathan Jackson's name quite a few times tonight, Ken, and again, getting a ball right there that should have been, for Copper Canyon's defense, should have been about a 3-yard loss, but give Nathan Jackson some credit. Got to the sideline and picked up a couple of yards and brought it back to be no gain on the play. 2nd and 10 here.
Raymond Payne is in the slot. Now he'll go in motion to the top of your screen, and O'Banion will give it inside. And we've got a flag thrown by the referee. He may have.
And another hold. How about that?
As they finally give Marcus Hackney one of a rare carry tonight. Coming off the 182-yard performance against Agua Fria, he has been more of a decoy tonight. And when he finally does get the call and gets a few yards up the middle, we've got another holding call on the Kellis Cougars.
I think we can't even count on one hand anymore the amount of good negated runs for Kellis. This one being brought back another 10 yards, and again setting this Kellis offense back, and we've seen that a lot in this second half. Just makes it tougher and tougher on the offense the farther you get pushed back.
O'Banion cranks it up, has Jackson complete out near midfield. He drops the football when he's hit by Raymond Johnson, and it looks like the ball has gone out of play. Well, O'Banion just cranked that one up and hit his favorite target, Nathan Jackson. Jackson went across midfield for what's going to turn out to be about a 29-yard gain. And then Raymond Johnson stripped him of the football but was unable to recover it.
A stroke of luck for Nathan Jackson there. He's got to be counting his blessings as that one was stripped out of bounds. That would have been a huge turn of events after what looked like just about a 30-yard catch. That would have been a huge momentum shift back to Copper Canyon. But Kellis keeps possession and keeps on moving.
We told you it's a full moon tonight, and Tyler Rucker tried to jump the snap, and I don't know if Nick Garfinkel saw that one coming and held for an extra partial second there, enough to draw Tyler Rucker off, but Rucker a little bit too rambunctious, and so it's going to be 1st and 5 for Kellis. And now, after being in a big hole, now they're in really good position with a 1st and 5 at the 41-yard line.
Yeah, Tyler Rucker, little eager there, young fella. It's a 1st and 5 now, but look for a run play here as they have Marcus Hackney in the backfield, so indications point to an up-the-gut run if it's Hackney getting the carry.
Ray Espinosa, wide receiver to the left side. O'Banion, 1st down and more. Bursts up the middle. O'Banion inside the 5-yard line, and he's finally dragged down by Monzel Childress.
Picking up about 35 yards on that running play there, and a great job of blocking by the offensive line, especially the right tackle and right guard on that play as they just open up that hole, and O'Banion bursts right through it. And as we approach 10 minutes to play, Kellis is in business within the 5-yard line here, close to the 3.
Adam O'Banion had 74 yards rushing against Agua Fria a week ago. He's undoubtedly been the star of this game with 2 touchdown passes, and to this point, 1 touchdown run and a couple of long bursts up the middle, either on quarterback draws or on scrambles. And with a 1st and goal from the 3-yard line now, he'll go up under Nick Garfinkel. And that was the motion man, Raymond Payne. And he's dropped for a loss back to the 6, so it'll be 2nd and goal.
And Raymond Payne in motion there might have gotten tripped up by the back foot of Adam O'Banion, not allowing himself to get out to the outside as the play was designed to do. Designed to showcase his speed as he scored a touchdown going to the same side of the field earlier in this game.
O'Banion now out of the shotgun with 9:07 to play in the game and a 2nd and goal from the 6-yard line. Set sail for the end zone, trying to get to the corner, and he's in for his 2nd score of the night. Adam O'Banion sets off the fireworks again, and his team is back on the scoreboard.
And a big time to score. This now makes it a big 2-possession lead. 27-13 as the score stands, now awaiting an extra point. But a great run there by Adam O'Banion, and he's just been the star here tonight. 2 touchdown passes, and now chalk up 2 touchdown runs for Adam O'Banion on the ground. A fantastic game here for the senior quarterback tonight.
Anthony Eberhardt will try to make it 28-13, and he does. So with 8 minutes and 59 seconds to play in this game, Adam O'Banion's 2nd touchdown run of the night has given the Kellis Cougars a hard-fought 28-13 lead over a scrappy Copper Canyon Aztecs team.
And the big play we can look at is that strike from Adam O'Banion to Nathan Jackson for just about 30 yards as Kellis was pinned back deep and looked like no momentum was on their side. They complete that big pass, get out past midfield, and keep this drive going and eventually punch it in. Adam O'Banion with a nice about 30-yard run as well and ended up punching it there from 6 yards out. A big score for Kellis, the first score in more than 2 quarters, but what a big one it is.
And that big play to Jackson you talked about. Jackson got incredibly fortunate when he was stripped of the ball by Raymond Johnson.
Right,
the ball
yep.
went out of bounds and they were able to keep possession. So now Copper Canyon, which was hanging around, now has to actually do something with this possession as time is not on their side. Colin Davis set to kick off. And Michael Grubbs has moved up to about the 10-yard line as Colin Davis will kick off from under a cloud left over from the last fireworks barrage that went off after that touchdown. Davis again knocks it right off the up man, Gonzalez. And to his credit, Jonathan Gonzalez held on to that football and gives his team pretty good field position at their own 48-yard line. But this is a drive, Mike, that they need to do something with, and they can't take a lot of time to get it done.
And the PA announcer put it perfectly going back to that last play. Great hands by Gonzalez there. But you're right, Ken. This is they've been relying on their defense to make up for their offensive shortcomings in the past couple of quarters, but now their offense is going to be put to the test. We have seen them score so far this game, but that was a while back in the first quarter. They're going to need to regain that offensive prowess here.
Grubbs in the Wildcat hands it off to Childress, who came in motion, and Childress is going to be snowed under there. Francisco Clamore, one of the blue shirts in there on the stop for either no gain or a negligible loss.
Monzel Childress with nowhere to run as he was the motion man coming from the left side of the field over to the right, getting the handoff from Grubbs. But again, I've said it time and time again, the interior linemen have done a fantastic job for Kellis, and they continue to be outstanding and really have been the anchors of this defense here tonight.
You mentioned one of those guys, Marcus Hackney, who hasn't had a lot of duty carrying the ball, but he's done a great job at left defensive end. Again out of the Wildcat. Grubbs trying to pick a spot and move up the middle, and Kellis is right there to make sure that that wasn't happening. It's going to be 3rd and about 9 with 8 minutes to play in the game.
And now is where it gets to be crunch time. This is where things need to start happening if you're on Copper Canyon. They need to get something going here. The running game hasn't been open all day outside of that big 74-yard run earlier in the game on a double reverse. Ended up resulting in a 1-yard touchdown out of Steven Lacunza. But now is where you need to have a big pass play, if anything else.
3rd and 9 from just shy of midfield. Again, Grubbs from the shotgun. He can throw the ball, and he just overthrows his man, who gets laid out by Anthony Eberhardt.
But a flag will be down on the play, and that should be pass interference. It looked like he hit him early and didn't give him a chance to make a play on the ball. This could be a huge penalty here, Ken.
Monzel Childress was looking up. The ball went over his head, but Anthony Eberhardt just laid Childress out. It will be personal foul, not pass interference. It's going to be for the hit around the head on the sideline.
And a big play for Copper Canyon. They don't get the completion, but they still get the yardage on the penalty, and this just keeps it going and keeps Kellis's defense on the field. And we'll see what can happen here for Copper Canyon, in desperate need of a score now with under 7.5 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter, and a big opportunity as they keep on driving.
First down to the 34-yard line. Lacunza back in there at quarterback. They fake the double reverse. Grubbs finally gets to the outside. He's being pursued, and he tried to cut back and reverse his field, but Kyle Stagg, the homecoming king, was having none of that.
And about a loss of 7 there. Michael Grubbs finally had room to run, albeit it was backwards. And that loss of 7 will set him back after that big penalty to keep the chains moving for Copper Canyon. A second and long coming up here for Copper Canyon. Kellis' defense doing a good job of getting to the backfield, and again winning the battle up front time and time again here tonight.
2nd and 17 now after the 7-yard loss. Michael Grubbs finally going tough. Grubbs and Jonathan Gonzalez confer, and Grubbs goes onto the left wing. Gonzalez the only back. Lacunza back to throw. Across the middle and leaping up to make the catch is Childress. He's got reliable hands, but it is a negligible gain inside the 40 to the 39.
Just about a 3-yard pickup, but again, we see a flag on the field.
This time Michael Lang will talk it over with umpire Ron Tate. An unsportsmanlike conduct foul now on Kellis.
Again, these penalties are killing this Kellis defense and this Kellis team as a whole.
Yeah, on the offensive side, it's been blocks in the back and holding calls, and that time a very inopportune time for an unsportsmanlike conduct foul. Moves the ball down inside the 25 to the 24 and gives Copper Canyon another first down.
And when you want to put away a team, the worst thing to do is give them penalties and extra yardage. That's exactly what's going on here. Inside the 25 now is Copper Canyon, and a chance to make something happen, turn this into a one-possession game here.
Again, Eric Branham shifts to the left side. Lacunza gives it to Grubbs, and shooting through to make the stop is Francisco Rangel. Marcus Hackney in there as well.
Rangel doing a good job of shooting into the backfield, as you mentioned. He actually had 13 tackles earlier this year against Bradshaw Mountain, and that was a 24-16 loss, as Kellis was the visiting team in that matchup as they traveled up to the Prescott Valley. But a good job of penetrating through the offensive line, as we've seen from plenty of the Kellis defenders tonight.
Loss of 4, it'll be 2nd and 14, clock running, 5 minutes, 21 seconds to play in the game. Copper Canyon trailing now by 15. They'll give it to Grubbs, and his opposite number, Kyle Stagg, is the first man to get there, but there were many to follow.
The homecoming king again getting it done, but the blue shirts just swarming to the man with the ball. And doing a good job of making sure Michael Grubbs continues to go nowhere. Has not had one running lane yet so far tonight. And all credit goes to that Kellis defense. They have game planned perfectly for this talented running back in Michael Grubbs.
So 3rd and 19 now with 4 minutes and 35 seconds to play in the game. Lacunza drops straight back again. He will look long, and it's incomplete for Kalen Robinson.
And he nearly made the catch on the sideline too. Kind of flailed both arms up there, nearly came up with it, actually batted it up in the air, but fell incomplete. Almost a fantastic grab there by Robinson. But instead it'll be a 4th and long, 19 yards they'll call it till the first down. And you gotta believe they're going for it here, Ken.
Good coverage by Wayman Payne on that play. He had a good first half running and catching the ball. That time he made sure that Kalen Robinson could not catch the ball, and This could be your ball game right here. Seems strange to say with 4 minutes and 26 seconds to play, but if Copper Canyon can't convert this 4th and 19, Kellis gets the ball back, and the Aztecs may never see it again. They will throw it short, incomplete. Looking for Childress. And Marco Pinedo was there on the coverage, and so the ball will go over to the Cougars. And with 4:21 to play, they've got the ball, the lead, and the momentum. And this home crowd, it's been looking for something to cheer about since the homecoming king and queen were crowned at halftime. Got something there.
And all Kellis needs to do from here on out is run the clock. But they'll have to stay penalty-free for that to happen, something we haven't seen too much in the second half, let alone the entire game. But if they can run the ball like they did in the first quarter, Copper Canyon's in trouble.
O'Banion in the shotgun, and the ball's probably in its safest place it can be, in his hands. He runs the quarterback draw out across the 40 to the 41, so he gets a good gain of about 7 and keeps the clock moving. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining.
And as effective as Ricky Bain and Wayman Payne have been for Kellis running the ball tonight, Adam O'Banion has arguably been their best runner, coming up with the big runs when they need him and picking up a decent amount of yardage there on first down. Most importantly, stays in bounds, keeps the clock moving, and turns time against Copper Canyon's side.
3:44 to play. Clock moving, 3rd and about 4. O'Banion now will hand it off this time. Payne gets to the outside, has the first down and more, and just puts his helmet right into Manny Uribe and punishes him for trying to make the tackle. First down, Kellis.
And Payne with a great stutter step and little hesitation move to get to the outside, and he's been so effective down the left sideline here tonight. And again, picking up a big first down. 3:24 now to go as they move into opposing territory here. But most importantly, that clock stays running as we're now under 3:20 to play here in the 4th.
First down at the 42 of Copper Canyon. O'Banion again in the shotgun. The give to Payne. Payne accelerates inside the 40, almost to the 35, call it the 36-yard line, a gain of about 6. 2nd and 4, and the clock continues to move. We are under 3 minutes to play now. Again, both teams 2 timeouts. Kellis isn't really concerned with theirs, but getting to the point where Copper Canyon may want to think about using one of theirs.
And we'll see if they stick to the run, which has been effective so far early on this drive, just to keep that clock moving.
Trips left, and O'Banion again, the safest place it can be. First down and more. O'Banion will cap a great performance on homecoming with his 3rd touchdown run of the night. A 36-yard touchdown.
And it's all but over now, Ken. That makes it 34-13. And what a fantastic game on homecoming night for the senior quarterback and captain Adam O'Banion. Now 5 touchdowns on the night. He had 2 throwing in the first quarter, and now 3 rushing touchdowns. You couldn't write up a better script for the senior quarterback than this.
That is his 3rd consecutive touchdown run. They all came after Copper Canyon had made it 14-13 late in the first quarter, and Anthony Eberhard's point after is good. And so with 2 minutes and 28 seconds to play, Kellis now leads Copper Canyon 35-13. And anyone who sees a final score anywhere close to that is going to say, oh, another loss by Copper Canyon. But this game was very entertaining and very much in doubt until the 4th quarter.
Yeah, the scoreline not indicative, Ken. I think you hit the nail on the head there. I mean, this was a 1-possession game for the majority of tonight's contest, but now we're seeing the better team break away, and the better team tonight happens to be the home team in the Kellis Cougars. And this one is all but wrapped up now.
Well, it's not all hearts and sunshine for Jason Golden and his coaching staff, because there are some mistakes they need to correct in the next 2 weeks before they go to Peoria for the season finale. Too many penalties, specifically holding calls, that have kept them from really achieving what they feel is probably their full potential. And with 35 points tonight, That's actually one of their lower scoring outputs of the game. They've won by 45, by 56, by 43, by 30, by 43. Lost 2 close ones at Bradshaw Mountain and Sunrise Mountain for beating Agua Fria by 14 a week ago. They're going to win this one going away, but it was tough. Again, they'll squib it along on the ground. And Anthony Goldsmith couldn't find the handle, and he'll just fall on it at about the 34-yard line. And so with 2:24 to play, Copper Canyon will just try to salvage some pride, starting from their own 34-yard line.
And not once tonight have we seen the ball kick deep to Michael Grubbs. We've mentioned it throughout the game, but wanting to take no chances with him back deep to return. And we saw it early too, both teams really staying away from their deep men. And again, it will be Copper Canyon with the ball here, not giving their kick returner any chance to get anything going.
Lacunza tripped up as he got close to the 40-yard line, and a flag comes in late, thrown by umpire Ron Tate. So tempers potentially flaring and some frustration boiling over here with just over 2 minutes to play in the game. Will be a dead ball personal foul on Kellis. So again, when they should be closing a game out, they were hit with an unsportsmanlike penalty on the last drive. Now it's a personal foul. It's going to move the ball across midfield and to about the 48.
And as you alluded to earlier, one of the things they have to work on before that game at Peoria is the penalties. And it's been on both sides of the ball. You mentioned the holding calls on the offensive side, but lots of personal fouls called on defense. And it really allowed Copper Canyon to stay in this game.
Tough snap, and Lacunza able to get it into the belly of Grubbs, but Grubbs is dumped there. Jarvis Lewis on the stop once again. Pushes him back to about the 47-yard line, and the clock now under 2 minutes to play, 1:50 and counting.
And it really feels like Michael Grubbs is in the negative for rushing yards. He just has had no lanes to go through. And it's just all credit to the Kellis defense. They've been fantastic here tonight, and especially in the second half, not allowing anything to get going for Michael Grubbs or any of the offense for that matter.
2nd and 16. Lacunza will give it to Grubbs. And again, he's going to have big blue meanies in his nightmares tonight. And again, a flag comes out. Everywhere he goes, he sees nothing but blue.
Another flag down. We'll see if this is on Kellis. If it is.
At this point, Jason Golden's saying, please, no, not again. It's a block in the back on Copper Canyon.
Got to be a sigh of relief from the Kellis sideline on that one.
We're going to see if they decline it, or they are going to decline it. Take the result of the play, which actually worked out quite favorably.
And keep the clock moving.
For the Cougars. Clock starts on the ready for play, 1:14 to go in the clock running. Copper Canyon once again giving a good effort. They're going to come up short tonight, this young team that has not tasted very many victories in the young career of Mike Segovia, and it is a sack, the 11th sack of the year by big Jarvis Lewis. 6'4", 240, and just a junior. Coach Golden said he's still learning to play football after his basketball career. He took last season off from football. Well, they've got quite a find in number 88. Another timeout taken by Copper Canyon with 45.5 seconds left, and they've got one left, but Kellis may just be able to take a knee, maybe two, and they'll have a hard-fought win on homecoming. And that will improve their record to 7-2 as they look forward to that big matchup 2 weeks from tonight at Peoria.
And the atmosphere, at least in the Kellis stands, finally getting a little bit more little bit more active, a little bit more happy as they're swatting these little beach balls around, getting in on the festivities, celebrating a nice homecoming win to get their 7th win of the year.
So with 45.5 seconds left, they'll put Anthony Eberhardt way back deep to at safety. It's actually going to be 4th down now. Might be the last play of the game, actually. And Lacunza trips over his own man, and that will do it. Kellis will have to snap the ball here, but you would assume they'd just take a knee. Boy, Adam O'Banion is definitely, he didn't win homecoming king, but he has been the king of the road tonight. Passing, running, finally takes a knee. It's probably his shortest gain of the evening. And if they take their time getting this set, they will not have to snap it again. And that is it. It wasn't easy. At times it wasn't pretty, but it's a W. And so Kellis beats Copper Canyon here tonight by the final score of 35-13. An entertaining ball game, Mike West.
It's a very entertaining ball game. Not much expected of it on paper, but that's why you don't play on paper and you play on the gridiron. And give Copper Canyon a lot of credit. They held their own for the majority of this game, at least through the first 3 quarters. They were right in it. It was a 1-possession game for the majority of this contest, but it just came down to the final about 8 minutes when Kellis just showed that they were the better team, and Adam O'Banion put the team on his back, and a couple of big touchdown runs put this one away for Kellis and locked them up their 7th win of the year.
So it's a happy homecoming here at Raymond S. Kellis High School. And with that, we say goodnight from Glendale, Arizona. The Kellis Cougars 35, the Copper Canyon Aztecs 13. The Cougars improved to 7-2, while the Aztecs fall to 1-7. Kellis is off next week before traveling to Peoria, and Copper Canyon hosts Agua Fria. For Mike West and our entire crew, including videographer Ken Peak and producer Malik Robinson, this is Ken Tomash thanking you so much for watching. This has been the Arizona High School Football On-Demand video series on the IBN Sports Broadcasting Network. The final again, Kellis 35, Copper Canyon 13. Good night from Glendale, Arizona.